What's going on, friends? Welcome back to a new video. Today we're talking about full frame versus Super 35, and specifically with the Sony A7RII Mark II. But this also applies to anyone who is interested in looking into getting full frame, or if they should stick with APS-C Super 35mm sensors. Now, why would anyone want to shoot in full frame mode? Well, in my experience, after shooting years on APS-C size sensors, you get a nice aesthetic when it comes to depth of field and also just the kind of like the overall drama full frame. Now, there's always a time and place to shoot full frame and a time and place to shoot Super 35. Specifically with the Sony A7RII Mark II, if you're shooting in 4K, you can get away with both full frame and Super 35. Surprisingly, because a lot of people say to only use Super 35, and I, for one, for a while was one of those people too. That was basically just upon, what I've heard and what I read. And so for me, it made sense to use Super 35 because of all the technical stuff. But from the examples I'm going to show you guys, you'll see that in 4K, Super 35 is just as good as full frame. 1080p is a different story. I'd highly suggest you use Super 35 and not full frame. I guess for whatever reason, since full frame does have a bit of pixel binning, I think it's because in 4K there's just more pixel density. So even though there's pixel binning at the same time in full frame, it's not as bad as it is when you're using 1080p. There just isn't enough information for the camera to gather and kind of like mask away any of the kind of like pixelation in 1080p. Now, one of the more interesting things is if you're deciding to use a full frame camera or a Super 35 camera, maybe you're shooting your next commercial, music video, a documentary, or a short film. A documentary that I shot earlier this year, I shot in about 75%, maybe 80% in full frame mode. It was about mid-afternoon for most of it, so I decided to shoot in full frame with the Canon 24-70 f4, and it turned out really well. I saw no pixel binning, I saw no artifacting, no aliasing, no moire. I didn't see any of that in full frame, but I was shooting in 4K. When night fell, I didn't feel that full frame was gonna give me the best picture quality or the best image quality, so I did shoot all of those clips in Super 35 mode. But friends, regardless if you're gonna shoot full frame or Super 35, remember that it's not the camera or the tool that makes the filmmaker. It's the filmmaker behind the camera, behind the tool. You guys are the ones that are gonna make the decision to choose full frame or Super 35. Neither one is better than the other. It just depends on what you want and what kind of visual appeal you like. People can argue that until the end of time. But at the end of the day, you have to be happy with the films that you're making, with the videos that you're producing. So choose full frame, choose Super 35. I love full frame. Maybe you will too. Subscribe to my channel, like the video if you liked it, leave a comment down below, let me know if you love full frame or if you prefer Super 35. Now that said, friends, remember that every day you have an opportunity to create your own experience and to write and tell your own story. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.